I felt like I didn't get anything done. I really do wish that I would have done this even when I was dancing. On average, 70% of podcast listeners don't subscribe to the podcast they listen to. So if you've ever been inspired, learned something, or been left with positivity from the show, please take a moment to hit the subscribe button so we can keep connecting, having real conversations, and growing together. Welcome back to Monday Morning Motivation. Happy Monday. Happy whenever you're listening to this. Always feel like I have updates that are updates, but also not updates at all, which is good, right? The whole no news is good news. Sometimes, but we did have a shot scare with Frankie. Okay, shot. That was an aggressive way to say that, but he had to go into the vet to get his yearly shots. And if you listen to our recap, 2025 recap, he had a bad anaphylaxis scare back in October, I think it was. But since he had this, it was from what we think was a butterfly that he ate, like one of the wings of the butterfly. We don't know for sure. The ER vets had said that they thought a lot of the times it's from bug bites, but that's what we found. But anyways, then his vet this past week was like, okay, if he has any type of reaction, bring him in right away. And so what do you know? He is lethargic. And then he started shaking again, which was one of the big signs when he had it the last time, except it did not come after a bunch of throw up. But I'm paranoid now. If she wouldn't have said anything, I wouldn't have been paranoid. We ended up taking him back to the vet. It was his actual vet and not the ER because it was still a normal time, but he was in the back for like an hour. And I'm like, what's going on? Because the other vet, he was in this big open area and we were with him the whole time, which also apparently it's the best vet ever. Anytime I talk to anyone that knows animals or our personal vet, I should say the best emergency vet ever. But our personal vet was like, oh, you took him to veg? Great. They're the best. So that was very nice. But anyways, he was back there the whole time. He ended up being fine. I think he was sore, but I was like, can we catch a break? Because I cannot deal with all of the scares. I always joke and I'm like, if he goes, take me with him because he's my best friend and we're just buddies. He's here with me right now. But we had a little scare, but we're all good. Everything is fine. I am leaving him today when I'm recording this, and that also makes me want to throw up a little bit. He's going to be with my mom and my dad. It's going to be fine, but I just get really sad because I love him. But anyway, moving forward, we also celebrated our 2-year anniversary, which is so crazy to me. Our wedding day was, it was my favorite day ever. I stopped because we got married in Cancun at an all-inclusive, and we were there for a full 5 days before the wedding. So it was just the best week ever as well. The day of, it was very windy and it was concerning to the point where we would maybe have to do the whole thing inside, which the outside option was beautiful, perfect, stunning. The inside option was old ballroom. I don't even know how to describe it. I'm pretty sure the carpet was that blue, ugly, just very weird. Not the vibe we were going for. And it was kind of one of those things where one, it's out of your control, and two, of course, the whole week before that was perfect and beautiful, and then the day of it was not. But it ended up being fine. It was windy. The table decorations weren't quite what we wanted, but again, totally fine. It was so much fun. We danced the whole night away. It was so perfect, which obviously that's not the whole point of marriage, but it does make me reminisce on that day specifically. I don't know, you guys. I just feel young, but then I think about it and it doesn't feel that far away from when I would have thought someone at my stage in life was really old. So time goes fast. Enjoy it. Savor every single moment. That's my moment on that. But yeah, like I said, we're leaving for Arizona this afternoon. I like to record these Fridays usually, so I'm ready for Monday. But we got to adjust a little bit. We are going for waste management and Maddie's birthday, my best friend from college. If you don't know, why would you? Maybe I didn't really know, but waste management is a golf tour thing. So, mostly excited to get to hang out with friends outside and wear a cute outfit. However, apparently, I don't know how to purchase outfits for appropriate weather situations. I placed a Nuuly order last week, and it was supposed to be kind of chilly in the morning. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do that like silk skirt look, put on a sweater. It's gonna be cute, and then maybe a shirt under it if I needed to take it off. But I put it on yesterday, the day before, really good, because I just assumed it was gonna work. I had full faith in myself, and it was giving Christmas Eve, winter holiday, not quite summer golf tournament. So we're adjusting. I spent all morning scrambling and just trying to like find different things that might work in my closet. So we're gonna piecemeal together. I'm really excited to get away. I love my work and what I've been doing lately, that it is a little hard and borderline stressful to leave, but I'm trying to just remember that one, I have to practice what I preach, and stepping away and recharging is good. And I haven't seen Maddie in like a year and a half, so it's getting a little out of control. It needed to happen. It was just very far overdue. So let's get into it. Today's episode is all around productivity, something that is so funny because I, you guys know, I love a journal. I've journaled on and off my whole life. It's so funny finding my super old ones of third grade me, which are at that time diary entries. But a common theme in a lot of my journals, more so college and beyond, is my obsession with being productive. And since then, I've done a lot of kind of dissecting to think about why I don't feel productive or why it was so hard for me to feel accomplished at certain points of my life. I think one is just the inability to kind of focus because also post college, you don't have that structure. When you're in a dance class, okay, I know what I'm doing. But when you're in that in between time, you got to really structure and prioritize your timing. But I really started to dissect into that once I was back after 2024, 5 season, whatever my last season, and I was back home and not going back to perform and trying to start up my own things. And I struggled. So I kind of had to dissect it. I would end days so upset. I would sit down at dinner and literally tell Garrett that I felt like I didn't get anything done that day. And he would start listing off all of the things that I did, which he doesn't even see half of it because I'm in my little office, he's in his, but just even stuff around the house that I'm keeping up with and be like, you did X, Y, and Z, all these things. I'm like, that's not enough. But I've gotten better. I think it's a little bit of the dancer mentality, especially when you're performing. You're just so physically and mentally drained and exhausted. And that's a season of life. You can't really sustain that forever. So you shouldn't, but it's a weird mind trick of you don't feel that tired. So you obviously didn't do enough. And also maybe it's just a little bit of a personality thing. I did have my one childhood best friend. She texted me about something and then was like, Gab, your drive is insane and not normal. So I think there's also a little bit of that. I was like, what do you mean? Not everyone feels this way. But maybe you feel that way as well. Maybe it's a dancer thing. Let me know. But even if you're not that crazy, productivity is still very important. And if we want to get the things we want out of life, we have to find ways and systems that work for us so we can use the most of our time and get ahead and do all the great things. So I figured I would kind of break down a little like system checklist that I have been doing for a few weeks now. I have experimented with so many different things, and I'm also a big list person. My mom always would tell me to write it down, make a list. I, again, in like my third grade baby journals, I would find little lists of things to do to clean my room, specific things too, of empty laundry bin, dust off dresser. So obnoxiously specific, and it probably would have taken me less time to just do it. But it's just been something I've had to really work on and train my brain to be like, you just got to stop thinking about it. But at the same token, I still stand by lists, but just in a different way. And if you listen to last week's like full solo episode that I recorded, I shared some updates. So if you haven't heard it, go back for some of those. But just a quick recap to tie it back into this episode, I really wanted to just go all in on this podcast and my social media in general, and just some other like behind the scenes things that I'm not quite ready to share yet. I've not taken a single business class in my life. Actually, that's not true. I took oh my gosh, a sports marketing class. I think it was my senior year. It was one of those classes where I just needed something to take. It was not social media at all. But anyways, I don't have any of that experience. So what I do have experience in, though, is time management. I think dance really teaches you how to time manage, how to show up to things on time, although I do struggle with that in social settings, but that's another 2026 little goal we have. I've always been very structured in that way, but he basically, Garrett, being he, was like, you gotta write out your schedule. You need to write a business plan. You should have the same weekly schedule. And that kind of stressed me out for a second because I had kind of tried that before where I'd be like, okay, the night before, let me time block all my things that I'm doing. And I would maybe follow it for one day. And then I would try it the second day and I would just fall off because a lot of the things that I fell off for were just things that then the day came and I was like, nah, I don't really feel like doing that today. And I would kind of just let that dictate what I wanted to do instead of being like, this is what I have to get done. This is what my time is for. And you just got to do it. And I did give him some pushback when he said that. And he basically, tough love, was like, I don't care. This is just what you have to do. And I mean, I totally obviously respect him and his career. And so I was like, okay, yeah, I got to do it. He actually sat down and did it for me for the first day, which was very sweet because it's like, I know how to do it, but thank you. But, anyways, that week I sat down and I blocked out everything I needed to do and kind of did it. But I want to break it down for you guys in a way that I really do wish that I would have done this even when I was dancing still. I think I definitely did the best I could. And also, especially being in New York City, it's just such a beast of a city and it's very exhausting. So give yourself grace, number one. But I'm going to just share my system that I've been doing now. And it actually alleviates a lot of the stress. I was worried because I also would kind of get a little uptight in the past if I didn't follow it. I felt like I was letting myself down. And then when it was re-suggested that I do it again, I kind of had that same fear and how I like to have a little flexibility. But now if I do need to take a step back, I have my little event or my my scheduled thing and I move it to a different day. I delete it, but and I'm getting ahead of myself now, but I just move it and it's just data and it's going to be okay. But it does allow my brain to let go a little bit because I would very much get in my head of when I was doing a task. I would start to think about a million other things that I still needed to get done and then get overwhelmed and or switch to a different task. And then that's how I kind of was ending up with a lot of tasks that weren't finished and then a lot of open loops in my head. So let's actually get into it. Okay. Google Calendar, step one. I love a Google Calendar. I was such an Apple Calendar girly for so long, but I don't know. I don't remember who told me to make the switch, but honestly, Pix alone, I just love it. Yeah, what I do is I Google Calendar everything for the week. So you could do this. I don't know what your schedule is, but I'm thinking back to what I was doing when I was living in New York and I was teaching random classes and taking random classes, working out, whatever. You have whatever your other job is, if it's your own hours or if you're going to work, you put it in your calendar. You might have to decide what works for you. I kind of set it every week to be the same, but then on Friday or Sunday, depending on the week, I will go look at the next week's and adjust if I was teaching a class on a different day or whatever it needs to be. If I have that random news thing that I did, I can just kind of adjust it, but it starts the same. And so then I see what tasks I have allotted via my business plan, via what I think is going to move the needle. So maybe for you, you're trying to prioritize getting in your cross training. So you have 5 workout classes allotted for the week, one each day. But then when you start the week, at least then you kind of have that mapped out. So you're obligated to then click on the event, change it to whatever the class is, the location, the time, you have it there. So it's kind of holding you accountable in that way. But again, it's a loose marker. Life happens, things happen. Also, they have fun colors. And it took me way too long to know this, but you can actually edit the colors specifically instead of the ones that they give you, and it's so much more fun. Don't waste too much time doing that, but you could always do that when you're winding down at night if you wanted. But Google Calendar, you're going to do all of the things you have the week, appointments you can put in, workouts. We already talked about that. You're putting in your workouts, and then anything else you know you want to get done every week, whether it's dance classes, whether it's hanging out with a friend once a week, whatever that is, you can just plug that in, repeat it on the day, do it for the week on Friday or Sunday. Okay, next, you have your baseline. I map out my priority tasks and deadlines. So if there's a big project coming up, if I have a last minute episode that I got filmed and wanted to get out there, and so now I have a lot of like backlog things to do, all of those things I just have down in the calendar so they get done. Cool. Great. Moving forward. Now you have your set schedule. You have your appointments, your important things for the week, your deadlines. Now is where you kind of have fun and you can look. I don't know if for me, sometimes I would sub random classes, so things would have to move. You kind of get to play. And I think if you can look at this as like a fun activity, or like a puzzle almost. I'm like, "Ooh, where do things need to go? What do I need to do?" You move it around so it works for you. And what I have found that has been really helpful to actually schedule out is your commute time, schedule in your breaks. I literally every day have afternoon walk and lunch. I have it scheduled because otherwise you're going to forget. Even to my workout classes, I have commute written out. If you want proof, I'll show you a picture. Same for laundry. I've gotten so crazy to the point where I every day have the type of load of laundry I want to do, whites, air dry, towels, and then I have time to switch the laundry and I have time to put it away. I will be transparent. I am still working on the commitment laundry wise because I don't know why it's my kryptonite. It's the one thing I cannot get myself to get into a good group with, but it's on there and it serves as a reminder. And again, at least if I don't do it, it's a mental reminder that I didn't follow it today and you just try to be better the next day. So you're scheduling in your breaks. I also even try to schedule in a fun day, a date night, a friend night, whatever it is, but make sure you're scheduling in your fun time as well. That is in the calendar. And then also you're going to stay committed to it because it's in the calendar. You're already going to do it. So that's kind of my system for now. And if you want to be really OCD like I have been, I have time allotted in the morning to adjust any last minute things that I need to for my calendar. I literally take a screenshot of it. I have a Canva app or Canva app. I have a Canva tracker template where I put the picture of the screenshot into my planned. And then as I adjust throughout the day, because I'm still new to it and I'm still like learning how long things take. So I am moving and adjusting times and adjusting things as they happen in the day so that at the end of the day, I take another screenshot. I put it in my Canva app. I keep saying app. I put it in my Canva presentation. I don't know. It's not a Google slide. I don't know what you call it, but my Canva little template thing. And I put it next to it. So then at the end of the week, again, without judgment, data, I can go back and look at what took longer, what I allotted too much time for. I will write notes down. I have another note in my notes app of week brain dump. So as things come up or I'm like, ooh, I need to spend a little more time on this next week, whatever it is, I can just dump it into a note. And I have questions. If you are curious about the questions, I'm not a professional at this, but they've been working for me. I'm happy to share them. So just kind of audit the week so that, again, it's knowledge, it's data. I can get the most out of my time, whether that means I need more breaks in the day or, hey, I noticed the first week I intended to put the laundry in and start it every morning on my way to work out. I didn't do it one time. So I was like, okay, I need to allot time. Now, the night before, I put the laundry in the washing machine, the washer. And then so in the morning, all I have to do is put in the detergent and hit start versus getting it all, collecting it, bringing it into the laundry room, dumping it in there. I get up, I do my thing and I leave. I like to ease into my days. So I don't have time to be doing all that. Another hack I've been loving for the sense of like brain dumps. So this is why I still use lists because I sometimes just need to release the thought, when you're like, oh gosh, I have to do that. And you keep thinking about it, put it in a note that you're going to look back at and you can just refer to it later so you can let go and focus on what you're doing. But I have in my reminder app, not my notes app, my reminder, I have different lists, which I love this one as well because when you hit the complete button, it goes away, which is kind of nice. But I have a few of them, but a grocery list and a to buy list. So I'll have obviously groceries, but then to buy, if I'm like, I'm running out of mascara, but I don't really want to go pull out my phone, go on Amazon, get them. I can just go back. And when I need to do an Amazon purchase next, I have my to buy list and I can see, oh, yeah, I need my mascara and I add it. Same with groceries, but also the other game changer, because I don't know about you, if you've ever gone on your phone and you forget what you were going to do on your phone and or you start opening a different app that you don't need to be on and then things start to derail. So I don't want to say the S word, but hey, you know who, to help you with your Apple iPhone, I will literally tell her to add Brussels sprouts to my grocery list. And then she just does it. I don't even have to open my phone. I can just tell her what I need and we're done. We're great. That was very long winded, all of this, but that is what I'm doing right now. I hope you got some things for it. Basically, to wrap it up in a little bow, be strategic with your time. That doesn't mean you have to fill every single hour of the day. Be honest with yourself about the downtime that you do need. But if you want to be able to get ahead in 2026 in your goals, you just have to be able to use your time wisely. It's the most valuable thing you have is time. And I know we all just want more of it. And so we just gotta try to maximize the time that you do have. So my quote to leave you with today is you can paint a house, but it won't change what's inside of it. Ooh, good one, right? So just the work starts from your inside, your habits, your systems. I love a habit. I love a system. So let me know if you liked this. If you found anything helpful, I'd love to hear about any revelations you had or ways you're going to apply it to you because we got this.